What is going on, you guys? I'm coming here today and we're going to be talking about Palpatine and how to use him in some builds. And I'm going to be using Ryan Kingston's fleet builder because this is definitely by far my favorite fleet builder. I'll put a link to this in the description below. And at the end of the video, we are going to be announcing the winner of the X-Wing 2.0 core set giveaway. So make sure you watch to the end of the video. So let's go ahead, and I'm actually going to do a couple of different builds just to talk about Palpatine. But let's just throw him on an Architons here and take a look at Palpatine himself. So again, Emperor Palpatine is coming with the Super Star Destroyer, and I think he is a very, very powerful commander. So he's 35 points. He's pretty expensive, although strangely not as expensive as people like Tarkin and Vader. After deploying fleets, place one defense token of each type on this card. At the start of each ship phase, you may discard one of those tokens. If you do, until the end of the round, if an enemy ship or squadron spends a matching token during its spend defense token step, discard that token. So basically, he is kind of like an old favorite of mine, Intel Officer. Basically, he's kind of like Intel Officer for an entire type of token for the whole round. This means it works for both shots if you're able to double arc somebody. This means he works for squadrons as well, so you can definitely deal with those scattering aces. And but again, you only get to do it once per token. So it's very he's very interesting. And initially, I had wanted to use him in a big Architons list. Use a whole bunch of Architons. Now the problem is I used to run a lot of Architons with Enhanced Armament and Vader. And I would do something like this. Vader, Enhanced Armament, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll drop Enhanced Armament from a few of them. Boom. All right, now I've got, I could do something like that. And there's ways to fine-tune that a little bit. And so I'd have a lot of... I'd have a lot of rerolls and everything, but then I'd drop it down a little bit and I'd put Intel Officer on some of those ships, and that was fine and good. But sometimes you kind of forget to use it. But I think Palpatine is, for one, he's cheaper. Vader is 35, Vader's 36. Vader's 1 point more expensive, so he's a little cheaper. But he frees up your officer slot. And like the Architons can potentially be a good candidate for a damage control officer, or Brunson, or Nida, or there's a lot of different options for the Architons that make it very appealing with that officer slot. So he frees up that. He also is fleet wide. So if you were to look at, what is this guy? Intel Officer costs 7. So 7 times 5 is 35. So if you wanted to run 6 Architons, he'll actually save you money if you wanted to have Intel Officer on all of them. So that much is cool. But also, it's like that he's also taking up your commander. So if you add on, like, well, how much would it cost to have a commander and Intel Officer? So here's what I came up with, and I like this idea. And since I'm not going to have rerolls from Vader, I put TRCs on our Architons. Now, I can pretty easily duplicate that. I'm going to get 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't quite do 6, because if Palpatine were 34 points, this would be an amazing, amazing list. 6 Architons, each with TRC and Palpatine. But you can't. So we can dial it back just a little bit, and we can fill... Oh, get that off of there. Makes it 340. And I've run something like this before with Vader. Is I run 5 Architons in a firing line, and I put some things in front of my Architons. Like, if the Architons are the crust of the pizza, I need just that inner layer of pepperoni, and that'll be 2 Gazantes. And they're kind of cheap. That only brings us up to 386. I give one of them suppressor and one of them slicer tools. It puts me at 397. And I can even toss like CommsNet on one of them or whatever. But that's not the build that I'm finalizing. Although this is definitely worth flying. This is kind of like the pizza build. The Architons are the crust, and the Gazantes are the pepperonis. And they do a couple of things by being pepperonis in your pizza. What they do is they obstruct shots that are coming for your Architons. And they're going to obstruct those shots. People generally aren't going to want to go after the Gazantes as much because they can table you without touching the Gazantes, and the Gazantes have a scatter. So they're not always the most appealing target. So having them serve as pepperonis is good for that. But they're also blockers. They're blockers for those black dice ships, for those demolishers that want to come in and get right up close and personal to your flagship with Palpatine on it. So the Gazantis are good blocking pepperonis. But I ended up not going with something like that. So let me give you the final build I came up with. That's a little more, a little less cheesy and a little bit more, diversified. Maybe a little more well-rounded. And plus also, not everybody has access to that many Architans, and since they're out of print right now, it's hard. So I'm going to run 2 Architans in this build. But that's it. I'm just going to stop at 2. And they can still run like a pizza crust. And I will have 1 Gazanti serving as a pepperoni. So I'm still going to have a little bit of that outside firing line pointed inwards. But I'm going to have other stuff that can go in as well. So like if this were a pizza, these 2 Architans would still be the crust. I can have a pepperoni. That's going to be a Gazanti. But I'm going to have some other toppings as well. Maybe some veggies. Might put some veggies on this pizza. So we're going to call this the Palpatine pizza build. Or the Palpatine, not Palpatine. Palpatine pizza. That's the name of the build. You probably already knew that though, because I just decided it now that that's the name of the build, and we're going to go ahead and put that on the thumbnail. We're going to call it Palpatine pizza. All right. So Gazanti is going to have I like the idea of it being a blocker, right? So I'm going to put Brunson on here to more or less make it a more of a dedicated blocker. Yes, we're going to come in here, he's going to be, like, you have to shoot through him, and if you do shoot him, you're going to waste some of your shots, because Brunson will help kind of stop some of that damage that's coming through. I'll give him comms net, let him support, so he's, so we've got a little bit of pepperoni seasoning on our crust, and we're going to give him suppressor. And suppressor really soaks him into the cheese a little bit, and it has a lot of synergy with Palpatine. So the idea of suppressor is that what makes it so good is you get to choose, and depending on what token you've chosen with Palpatine this turn, it gives you a lot of, like, let's say an ISD, or let's say a Liberty comes in, okay, and you've chosen Brace this turn. They come in, you use suppressor to set one of their their redirect. Now they got 2 braces, but either one of them, whichever one they use, has to go away. Or maybe you've chosen redirect this turn, and then you do toggle one of their braces, and then if you do get that 1 accuracy, you hit the green brace, and now you've got them. And no matter what they spend, it's going away. So suppressor just gives you a lot of choice, and it's gonna synergize really, really well with the choices of Palpatine. I love suppressor. I love it, especially with Palpatine. You're really wreaking havoc on their defense tokens, and it's beautiful. Absolutely love it. Okay, so what else are we going to do? Let's go ahead and let's add some chicken. Chicken is going to be the Raider. Raider 2 is a little chicken, because I like chicken on my pizza, right? And the idea of the Raider is we're going to run a decap on the Raider 2, and we want that ion cannon upgrade so we can put heavy ions on there. And this idea is this guy's going to drain your shields. And also it's an idea for you to potentially target, use Palpatine on those turns where you want to target their contain, because I think damage control officer is going to become more of a thing now, especially in maybe future Super Star Destroyer matchups. You're going to definitely need ways to deal with the contains, and here's a way for you to do that. So sure, contain that crit, but these heavy ions are coming for you. And since I don't have dice re-rolling on this particular ship, I'm going to give him gunnery team. So when we do pop disposable capacitors, here it is. When we pop disposable capacitors and we take that 1 long-range shot with all those extra blue dice, if we don't get that crit, well, we have a second shot that we can take against maybe another target, and maybe we can pop heavy ions on that one. So you're likely to get some good results with 3 blue dice, maybe 4 if you ever got a concentrate fire. But even if I don't, I can still take another shot. So I'm hedging my bets there. I'm not going to have the re-rolls on 1 shot, but I'll have a whole nother shot, which is arguably better, because you could get two good shots. Although you can only use heavy ions once. All right, so let's go ahead and have a buddy to fly with this Raider, and let's call this guy the Bacon, because chicken and bacon go real nice on a pizza, right? and everybody loves bacon, and everybody loves demolishers. So that's definitely the why I'm naming it that, right? It has nothing to do with the fact that I called this a pizza and I have to come up with silly little names to keep it going. So we're going to have run Demolisher, and it's going to be a standard Demolisher. So we'll put Ordnance Experts. We do need our rerolls here, and we'll give it Assault Concussion Missiles. Assault Concussions will be nice here. Again, more crits, more things to punish people who want to use Contain on the turn that we've chosen for Palpatine to target their Contain. Again, this is only really going to take effect if they've got damage control officers, but I do predict that's going to be more of a thing. If not, then, you know, then we have the liberty to use it at will. So, good Demolisher. I'm not going to run Engine Techs here, although Engine Techs is a good option because I do want to have some Squadrons, right? I'm not a huge fan of Squadrons, but we got to have the vegetables on our pizza. So, let's start off with, Squadrons. Let's start off with our green peppers. The green peppers is going to be the Lambda. I'm not a big fan of green peppers, but they're colorful, and you know, some people like green peppers. Lambda is going to be good for objective stuff. It's also got a lot of hull. I'm looking at survivable squadrons for this build to to fend off the attack that somebody else is going to have. Now, this guy has heavy, so I can't really rely on just him having heavy. But I'm going to add Valen Rudor, because Valen Rudor teams perfectly with a Lambda shuttle. Valen Rudor is kind of like my my onions. A lot of flavor on this guy. A lot of flavor on Valen Rudor. And he's going to force the Lambda to go switch from heavy to basically be escort. Because Valen Rudor ties you up, you have to attack the Lambda. So heavy squadrons are really good with Valen Rudor. So instead of just that, well, let's toss in a YV666, great squadron, and a Decimator. Come on, Decimator. There we go. Now we got 4 squadrons, which is good. That's given us plenty of deployment advantage, right? We got 2 extra deployment options here. We have a good amount of anti-squadron firepower. Look at this. Black dice, black dice, black dice, black dice. Oh, but what about those aces? Well, that's what Palpatine is for. Go ahead and spend your scatter. I double dog dare you. It'll be gone. So that is excellent. We've got... in addition to that, we've got Valen Rudor giving everybody, taking advantage of everybody's heavy. And we can turn all of those into escort, basically, because Valen Rudor will be able to tie somebody up. All these other guys come in here and just take it out. We can deal with counter, because Valen Rudor can attack you. You can't even counter-attack him back. You can't deal with, 100 A-Wings, but he can deal with 4 A-Wings. This group, should be able to deal with that. And we get a lot of good dice. Now, not a whole lot of crazy anti-ship dice. We do have the Decimator for that. And if we need to split Valen Rudor off with the Decimator, they're going to have to attack the Decimator and deal with the counter 1 coming back, which is always fun. Now, I know what you're thinking. We don't have a good carrier. We do have the Gazanti with its value of 2, and we only need to hit Valen Rudor in the Lambda because the YV and the YT, or the VT rather, have Rogue. So we can get by with only using one ship to do squadron stuff. So, and that's only if we need to. And the Lambda's going to. I mean, this is just very diversified. It's going to struggle against a really heavy Sloan build with the squadrons and everything. But these will at least be there to slow everything down. And there's a lot of hull for them to chew through, so they aren't going to have the quickest time getting through a Lambda and a YV and a VT-49. So it's going to take them some time, and we'll be chewing back. And I'd rather them be shooting at my squadrons than shooting at my ships. So, and hopefully in the meantime, I'll be destroying their carriers. And that's kind of the goal here. Let's talk about objectives. What objectives am I going to run in a list like this? We'll start with our red. I do have 5 shooting ships, so I could go with opening salvo. I could go with it wouldn't be a bad idea to go with something like Most Wanted, because I've got a Gazanti cruiser that wouldn't be worth a whole lot of extra points, especially since Brunson's there. But I think they're going to definitely want to kill that Gazanti bad enough already between Brunson and Suppressor, and you could make the argument to go with something like Targeting Beacons to get some rerolls. I don't have rerolls for the Raider and the Architans, but I've got dice mitigation enough in this list between TRCs and Ordnance Experts over here on the Gladiator. So I think I am going to go with opening salvo. 5 ships that aren't bad. The 5 ships that can shoot. It makes the Gazanti have a little bit more teeth. So I'm a fan of that. For our defensive objective, we're going to go ahead and go. Like this one's a little tough, but I think I'm going to go with fire lanes. Mostly because I do have a Lambda, so I can get a lot of extra points that way. And I can use the Lambda to pull it back, and I'm going to be flying these Architons kind of straight and probably kind of slow, so they'll be offering a pretty good amount of dice for me to, to just push those things closer. Also, fire lanes is one of those that lets you identify where the battle's going to take place, and you can kind of control a lot of where the battle's going to be, and I definitely like that. And for our navigation, I'm gonna, we have, Solar Corona and superior positions are always good, but I don't think we really need that. I think we're comfortable enough in deployments, so I feel like I'm gonna take advantage of the Lambda a little bit, as well as Brunson with objectives, and I'm gonna go ahead and select Salvage Run. Salvage Run, he basically puts everything in the middle of the board, and then I can kind of fly around the middle. I can use the Lambdas to pull objectives out of the middle and pull them towards my ships. I can have the Architons fly around, no problem. I can, it's just, it's another one of those where I can kind of dictate where the fighting is going to take place, but I can use the Lambdas to make it work to my advantage. And I've got small enough ships that if they have to maneuver through the middle, I can still make that work as well. So I think that'll be a fun way to do it. But overall, I think this is the Palp Pizza, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and we got a winner to talk about. You guys have entered in, and the winner of the X-Wing 2.0 core set is going to be Marcus Bitter. Congratulations. Go ahead and send me an email, and I'll get your contact information, and we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. For everybody else, I will be doing more giveaways. We'll have another one that'll probably be starting here in the next few days, so make sure you are subscribed and click that bell for alerts. You don't want to miss out on those. For you guys on Patreon, I am starting a Commander Sado promo today over on Patreon, so I'll be posting that as well, and you know what to do. Just go ahead and leave a comment on there if you are interested, and it'll be called Who Wants This, and just let me know if you want it, and and it'll go from there, and that'll run for about a week. So that's what's going on, and there's new giveaways happening all the time, so make sure you stay tuned for those. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out Crabbok.com. Hop in Discord, say hi. You can check out my t-shirt shop on the TeePublic link I have down in the comments below, or the description below. And that's about it, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.